Now we finished our home page, and we're going to use pretty much the same techniques on our about page and a very quick version of the contact page. So what do we need to do on our about page first of all? Well, if we look at the about page, it just says about page. What we can do is actually take our header from our index.html. I'm going to copy it and paste it here. Same thing with footer. I'm going to go to the bottom here and get our footer. Copy and paste. There we go. So again, if I look at my about page now, I've got the same thing as what I have normally. I can add a section tag in here, just like we have on the other pages. And because this is a section tag and it still uses the grid, I want to just kind of lay this out in the same kind of way. So notice that CSS works across the site. It isn't per page. And if I want to change things per element or area, I suppose, we would do that in CSS in the same way. So for instance, it doesn't really matter that this is on this page or this page, it's going to look the same. So what we're going to do next is we're going to basically replicate what we had here. So we had a section here with a class, a project. We had two different div tags in here that had a layout on them, and then within that they had two different things, an image and some text. So we're going to do the same thing here. If you want to try and skip ahead and see if you can do this, have a go. I'll do this right now and you can kind of catch up. So here what I'm going to do is a section with the class of, what should we call it, about maybe? Yeah, let's call it about. And in here what we want is two areas, two kind of groups. So the first group is going to be a div tag, and this has a class of, well, let's do photo. This is going to be the photo area. And separately, but still within inside the section, we're going to have another div class. So notice that inside, and this one is going to be class description. And in the photo, what we're going to do is, well, we're going to add the image. The image is the headshot.png. So this is an img tag. Again, there's no closing one in this because it's a single tag. There can't be any more content inside of it. And in here, we're going to have a source of headshots.png. And also good for accessibility, good for SEO, search engines. We're going to add an alt, and this is going to be Aria Oslo headshots. So at the moment, when we start adding some content, I'm just going to write in about me for now, just to see how this looks. Let's see how it looks on the site. So again, it's pretty small on this page, and the reason for that is that everything's in the same place. So what we want to do is actually for this about section, have it in two different areas. So that's the next thing. So description in the about section and a photo in the about section are going to look a little bit different. So in my style.css, I'm going to go back here. I'm going to add some space, and my section with the class of about is going to have what? Well, it's going to have two things inside of it. Div with the class of photo. And this one is going to be a grid column. It's going to start at 1, but this one is going to span not 4, but 6. And the same thing for description. So this section with the class of the about is going to have a div inside of it called description. And this one is going to do div grid column. It's going to start at 7 and span 6. So just by adding this in, notice how quickly it is to kind of fill this out. It's been really, really quick. Once we set up the general styles of the page, it gets really quick to start to add pages. So all we need to do is add some style and text in here. So what do we want to add as text? Well, again, I'm just going to quickly go back to Figma. I'm going to add my text from up here. This is in the H1 rather than the H2. So I'm going to make sure that's the right one. So in my about section, I'm going to add not about me, but H1, and that's here. So that's style. Again, I'm just going to move this in just to make it a little bit easier to read. Now you might notice here as well, we have two different bits of text. We have 1 and 2. So this is actually 2 paragraphs. I'm going to take the first paragraph, copy this, and still within my description underneath, I'm going to add a P tag, P for paragraph, and paste that there. And underneath this paragraph, still within my div, notice this yellow box goes around. I'm going to add a P tag here for paragraph number 2. Copy this and paste that in. Nice. So what we should see on the page now is something that looks like this. Now the reason that this is kind of off center is because it has some text alignment and some margin on this. We can overwrite this by default. So how do we overwrite this H1's defaults? Well, we have some style further up the page, and we can overwrite this by being more specific. So here in the section .about, there's a H1, and this has no margin at all, 0, 0, 0, 0. So let's see how that looks. Again, why is it like this? Well, if we look further up the page, you might notice we had a section with H1. Here it is. And this has some text alignment in the center. So we want this to be on the left this time. So here, we're also going to add text alignment, and this is going to be on the left. We're going to reset this and overwrite it. So now what we should see is this lines up. We might want to add some space in our paragraphs, so maybe some space here and space here. That's where the paragraph 2 starts. Let's add that in as well. So for this, we've got our section .about. We've got the p tags in here. This is going to have some margin. 16 on the top, 0 on the right, 16 on the bottom, 0 on the left. Going clockwise, or treble, TRBL. So there we go. It's pretty quick to add in. So one thing to kind of realize is how quickly this can be added in very quick ways. So once we've had the general setup of the page, it's very quick to add this in a modular way and overwrite the things we want to overwrite.